If you've been spinning your wheels trying to figure out what is this perfect niche that I am going to lean into before I even start my consulting business, I totally get it. When I first started consulting, I felt like I had to choose the right industry and get it perfect in order for me to get paid. So in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly the steps that I took to choose my niche, and as a result, 10x'd my income. And here's the kicker. I did it in a way that most people don't even consider. Hi, my name is Laura Meyer. We haven't had a chance to connect yet. I help smart experts like you get started in consulting and build your first 6 figures in consulting revenue. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a 7-figure business owner, and the author of the book Win-Win. Win-Win was an Amazon 6-week bestseller in the sales category, and if you have Amazon Unlimited, you can get it for free. So the first thing you want to do when you're considering getting started in consulting is not try to narrow down the amount of people that you serve, but open it up to as many people as possible. And the reason why you want to do that is because you're still learning and growing and trying to figure out, okay, what's the need of the market that I can best help with? So I want you to start with proximity. Think about your extended network, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your neighbors, people that you might be connected to, businesses that you frequent, or other types of organizations that you've partnered with in the past. This would be anybody that you know that's leading a business. And if that business is growing, chances are they have problems. And where there's problems, there's opportunity. So you might be thinking, Laura, I don't know anybody like that. But I can promise you, you do. You probably just haven't thought about them in this way yet. Maybe you have a neighbor with a busy dental practice that's growing and they could be struggling with some operational challenges. Maybe you've worked with or volunteered at a nonprofit who's struggling to get more funds in the door and they could really use some fundraising help. Maybe you have a friend from college that started a software business and they're growing really nicely, but now it's time to bring in formal sales or marketing help. Or maybe there's somebody in your community whose gym is bursting at the seams and they're trying to figure out what their next best step is. These business owners might not be posting about their problems on social media. If they're experienced business owners with some wisdom, they know to keep those types of challenges behind the scenes. But if they're growing, I can tell you, they're experiencing pressure. They likely have growing pain. They might be overwhelmed and they need help. And this is where your niche opportunity begins. Just by noticing who's around you and asking yourself, what are some of the problems that they could be experiencing that I have the potential to help with? And you don't need to have your offer defined from day one. In fact, I think this can be a mistake. What you need to do is start getting into conversations with the right types of business owners and leaders and listen for what their most pressing problems are. So as Alex Hermosi puts it, the fastest way to make more money is to take what you're already good at and do it for people who have more money. And honestly, that's so spot on with what I have experienced as a consultant. With consulting, you're not reinventing yourself. You're not trying to learn a whole new business that you have no knowledge around. And with niching in this way, you're not chasing a specific type of business. You're just aligning what you already do really well with the types of people who would pay to have that problem solved. And when you start from that place, where your skills meet present-day issues and problems that business owners have, your niche will start to reveal itself through actual conversations, the types of conversations that get you into action and create momentum. So remember, instead of picking a niche in isolation, ask yourself, who do I know? What could they be dealing with? And how could I help them? The second step is to identify a painkiller problem. All right, so you're starting to have conversations. You're talking to business owners that are established, that are growing, and the problems and issues that they are experiencing are starting to reveal themselves to you. So now it's time to dig a little deeper. The question you want to ask yourself is the problem that they're struggling with urgent enough to pay for help? So here's what trips up a lot of consultants in the early stages. They decide too early what they want their offer to be before they actually start getting into conversations and trying to figure out what are the most pressing and urgent problems that business owners tend to have. And then as a result, those consultants lead with something that's valuable but not urgent. Their offer doesn't solve the biggest problem that business owner has. It's not the kind of problem that keeps business owners up at night that they would pay generously to just go away. This is what I call the difference between a vitamin offer and a painkiller offer. So a vitamin is nice to have. For example, if I take my vitamin this morning, I'll feel better in the long run. But if I forget, it'll be okay. I'll probably have a similar type of day either way. But if I have a migraine in the middle of the day and I need to get something done, I am reaching for the painkiller. A painkiller solves an immediate and pressing problem. So the question you want to ask yourself as you're starting to engage and speak with different types of business owners is, what is their 2 a.m. problem? What's the thing that's keeping them up at night that makes them whisper to themselves when no one else is listening? If I can't solve this problem, I don't know if I can even keep going. And this is where your niche is going to start to take shape. Maybe your client and their team, they're overworking and they're just not hitting their sales goals. Maybe they have leads coming in, they're spending money on marketing and that marketing is working, but all of those leads are falling off and it's not generating revenue. Maybe they're growing really fast and they're doubling revenue year over year. There's some really nice natural demand for their services or products. But as a result, their operations are totally bottlenecked and they have no idea how to solve them. These are the kinds of painkiller problems that you want to be looking for in your conversations. There tends to be money set aside and resources available for the most urgent problems in a business. So instead of guessing what might be valuable, instead, listen for urgency. I feel stuck. We can't grow. This needs to get solved. We're leaving money on the table. That's the gold that you are looking for. And that's where the real traction starts to happen with your consulting business. And the third step here is somewhat unconventional. It's counterintuitive, but it's what I have found to be true when it comes to niching a consulting business. What you want to do is niche into a problem solved by a framework. Let me explain. Once you've had conversations with people that you know and you've listened for their most urgent problems, the next step is to ask, how can I solve this exact problem consistently, using the same framework each and every time? Your ability to recognize these patterns over time will help you figure out how you can scale your consulting business without it taking up all of your time. Recognizing these patterns also keeps you out of analysis paralysis and gives you the freedom and flexibility to grow. Because here's the trap that I see a lot of new consultants fall into. They feel like they have to niche into an industry or category of business. And as a result, they feel pretty stuck. So instead, what I want you to do is niche into a problem solved by using a repeatable framework. So for example, I have clients in nonprofit, for-profit, internet marketing, brick and mortar, and traditional business. They're all in different spaces, but I'm solving the same exact problem every single time using the exact step-by-step framework. That's what makes my business so scalable. Because when you're delivering a clear outcome every single time, utilizing a proven process, you stop customizing everything from scratch, you simplify your delivery, and you get better and faster results because you've already seen the patterns. And this is the shift that separates consultants who are working 8 to 10 hours a week and those that are working 80. So as you follow these steps, what I want you to reflect on is, what outcomes have you helped people achieve consistently, even if it was in your corporate job? What steps did you take to get them to those outcomes? What types of tools or templates or resources do you tend to use again and again in your work that could then translate into a repeatable framework? And when this happens, you don't need to worry about what your niche is specifically. This is when your work starts to stand out. And even better, as you create more and more results and you're able to market using those results, your ideal clients, the ones with the problem problem that you specialize in solving will come and find you. So don't niche into a category. Don't worry about any of that. Instead, specialize in a specific type of problem that you're really good at solving. This keeps your consulting business from getting a little boring because you're always learning and growing about different types of industries. But what it does do is it allows you to build a consulting business around a repeatable process that gets clients results. And it's this repeatability that gives you your time back and creates a scalable consulting business. And if you want a next step on how you can keep going, I have something that will really help you. I put together a free ebook that's going to help you with not only trying to figure out how you can niche your consulting business into a framework, but the exact steps that I took to market, sell, and deliver my consulting offer that has now generated millions of dollars in revenue. It's perfect if you're just getting started or if you're already consulting but you want to turn it into something more scalable and sustainable. You'll find the link to download it right below here in the description. So make sure you check it out, take a look, and start building a consulting business that pays you what you're worth, utilizing the skills that you're already great at. So thanks so much for being here. If you found this valuable, make sure that you're subscribed and check out this next video where I dive deeper on how to get your first consulting client fast. I'll see you over there.